Hi, I'm Dr. Rick Duplantis, and you're watching
Welcome to my
It's
show
Your
called
Health.
It's Your Health.
You know, summer's coming to a close at this time, and we're in August, second week in August now. We're having temperatures with a heat index of 105, 106. I want to caution any of those individuals who are exercising or working outdoors to hydrate throughout the day for the prevention of heat stroke. Wear light-colored clothes, light clothes in and of itself, and definitely try to wear a hat with a wide brim on it to protect you from this harsh heat that we're having at this time of the year. And speaking of middle of August, the Acadiana kids are going back to school at this time, and this is a time of the year we start seeing the school supply sales starting up in the various grocery stores here, Walmart's, the Office Depot as well. And, speaking of that, you see the signs, caution to drive slow around the school zones as Acadiana's children start to return to classrooms. I want to comment on a common issue with kids going back to school, and that's the use of these backpacks that they use to carry their books back and forth to school. These backpacks can be overloaded with too many books, with a very heavy load for these children. It can stress the back muscles, can stress their shoulder muscles, their neck muscles, and gives rise to a lot of pain and discomfort, actually. These backpacks allow children to carry a number of textbooks and notebooks, at that time easily, but the backpacks, will distribute the weight when he carries this load pretty much evenly. Many children will have a tendency to lean forward when they have a very heavy load on their back and their backpacks, which could cause them to lose their footing sometimes and stumble, falling face forward to the ground and then, hurting themselves. So we don't want them to do that. Carrying these heavy loads in their backpack could cause them to strain their back, which also is self-limiting and transient, and does resolve. But, sometimes these children may persist with lower back pain, with neck pain or shoulder pain from carrying these heavy loads or books in their backside. And so these people need to see their doctor to properly be evaluated and to be treated. In most cases, as mentioned, the back pain from heavy backpacks do not cause serious or permanent injury to the spine. It has been suggested that the child should limit his load to about 10 to 15% of his body weight. Although this is strictly conjecture and not really a result of scientific investigation or research, we have an example of this weight distribution. A child's weight, backpack weight, if a child weighs 50 pounds, his backpack should weigh about 5 pounds. If a child weighs 75 pounds, his backpack should not exceed 7.5 pounds. If a child weighs 100 pounds, the backpack should be about 10 pounds. At 125 pounds, that would be 12.5 pounds in his backpack. And a child weighing 150 pounds, could carry 15 pounds in their backpack. There are some guidelines in picking out the right backpack. You want to use something with lightweight material, canvas, as opposed to leather. Something that's well padded, adjustable shoulder straps on the backpack. You want these shoulder straps to have a lot of padding so they don't hurt the shoulders. You want the back of the pack to be padded. Individualized compartments is something you should look for when you're buying a backpack. The hip strap, a waist belt, or frame to redistribute the weight of the backpack from the shoulders and back to the pelvis. It's also helpful if you have wheels on your backpack. This is something that these backpacks can be pulled rather than carried, thus taking a great deal of stress off the lower back. You might want to consider using a separate bag for the child's laptop or other heavy electronic items. You want to also teach your child how to properly load and wear their backpack to avoid, back injury. Have the child use their legs to pick up their backpack. Always use 2 shoulder straps and wear the backpack on the back rather than over one shoulder, as many kids do. And this can cause an imbalance and pain or strain to the shoulder and neck on the side that they're carrying this backpack. Pack your heavier objects into the backpack first so that they are carried lower and closer to the body. You want to fill the compartments so that they load evenly, and then distribute the weight throughout the backpack to limit movement of the materials in the backpack. Pack sharp or bulky objects in the backpack so they do not contact the back or cause problems. You want to adjust the straps properly to fit the backpack snugly to the child's body, holding the bottom of the backpack 2 inches above the waist and keeping the top just below the base of the skull. Do not carry the backpack below the waistline. Backpacks that have rollers, of course, these are much easier for a child to roll than rather to strap to their back and carry around. This takes all the stress off the back and shoulders if they have rollers on their backpack. Not allow your child to lean forward when carrying a heavy backpack, as this could cause harm. And when he stumbles, leaning forward could cause him to stumble, lose his balance, and hurt himself. Improper backpack use can also lead to poor posture. Girls and younger kids may be especially at risk for backpack-related injuries because they are smaller in frame and they carry loads that are heavier in proportion to their light body weight. Also, backpacks with tight, narrow straps that dig into the shoulders can interfere with the circulation and nerves, and this can cause serious problems and discomfort. These types of straps can contribute to tingling, numbness, weakness in the arms and legs, something like we call a palsy in medicine. A bulky or heavy backpacks, just cause back injuries. It's other safety things you want to consider. Kids who carry large packs often aren't aware how much space the packs take up, and they can hit others with their backpack when turning around or moving through a tight space, such as the aisles of the school bus. Students are often injured when they trip over large packs or the pack falls upon them. Carrying a heavy pack changes the way kids walk and increases their risk of falling, particularly on stairs or other places where the backpack puts the student off balance. You want to monitor your child from time to time. You want to ask them, how is he or she feeling? How's their back feeling, their neck and their shoulder? If they're having any problems or discomfort from carrying their backpack. If the kids are carrying a 40-pound backpack and they weigh 80 pounds, they can fall right over, and they don't have enough stability to balance themselves throughout the day, and then they can risk wrist, arm, leg, neck, lower back injury, or even worse from this problem of carrying too much weight. 2 conflicting studies of back pain from backpack were published in the May 1st issue of the Spine. In the American study, researchers from the DuPont Hospital for Children in Wilmington, Delaware, and the Johns Hopkins School of Public Health surveyed over 1,000 students between the ages of 12 and 18. They found that 74% of school backpack users reported back pain. The children with back pain also reported significantly poor general health, more limited physical functioning, and more bodily pain. In another study done, children who reported back pain were also more likely to be female, likely to be older, and likely to be overweight. The researchers say children that attend schools that didn't allow students to carry backpacks between classes were less likely to report back pain. This is an interesting point. There was a Dutch study done. The researchers from the Regional Center in the Netherlands at the University Medical Center in Amsterdam evaluated neck, shoulder, and back pain in 745 secondary school students. The researchers found about 45% of the students reported pain in those body areas. But researchers found the weight of the children's school backpacks was not related to the pain complaints, even though the average weight of the children's backpack was heavy, at about 17 pounds or 15% of their total body weight. Backpack loads are responsible for a significant amount of back pain in children, and which in part may be due to changes in their lumbar disc height or curvature. Researchers study this at the University of California in San Diego. Over 92% of children in the United States carry backpacks that are typically loaded with 10% to 22% of their total body weight. About 7% of the children ages 11 to 14 years of age report back pain, the majority of whom attribute the pain to wearing a school backpack. Interesting findings. In this study, researchers used an upright MRI scanner to image the spines of 8 children of age 11 while standing first with an empty backpack, and then these backpacks were loaded, representing 10% of their body weight, 20% of their body weight, and 30% of the children's body weight. 9, 18, and 26 pounds respectively. The results showed 2 key spinal measurements changed as the weight of the backpack increased. Heavier weights cause compression of the discs that act as cushions between the bones of the spines, we call the vertebra. Researchers say that disc compression was especially great in the lower spine at heavier backpack weights. Heavier backpack loads were also associated with increased curvature of the lower spine. Half of the children had a significant spinal curve, even with an 18-pound backpack. Most of the children had to adjust their posture to adapt to the heaviest 26-pound backpack load. The amount of pain reported by the children also increased as backpack load increased. At the heaviest load, the average pain score was nearly 5 out of 10 for the children. Researchers say the results show heavy backpacks cause compression of the spinal disc and increased spinal curvature that are related to back pain reported by these children. Always check your child's backpack to make sure that he or she is not carrying more than 15% of their body weight. Get them to carry their laptop computers separately and possibly in cases that have rollers so they can be rolled around, as these laptops can be very heavy. You want to get involved and you want to talk to the teacher about reducing the workload or the need for these children to carry all of these heavy textbooks. If the work can be sent home or copies be made of the textbook pages for the homework assignment, this would help to lighten the load of the backpack for these children. Parents should get involved with the PTA and have communication, direct communication with the teachers regarding their concern for the heavy loads textbooks required to be sent home each and every day by their children. When it comes to using backpacks, folks, use common sense. When your child has to have a backpack to carry his book sack to and forth to school, be aware of the many problems that are potential could occur that he or she, with their backpack, may incur while carrying these heavy backpacks. Always ask your child if he or she is having neck pain, shoulder pain, or back pain. If they do complain with neck pain or back pain, treat conservatively with rest, ice, and maybe warm baths. If the lower back pain or the neck pain persists for more than 1 or 2 weeks after you've used the above conservative methods to alleviate their discomfort, you want to seek out a doctor to evaluate them and treat them for their back pain and for this condition. Okay, now we'll take a quick break now. When we come back, we'll be talking about the Zika virus. I am Dr. Richard Duplantis. You're watching Cox Cable Channel 16 on AOC. I want to thank you for watching my show today, It's Your Health. And I had many requests for previous episodes, so this is where you can find them. If you go to the internet to YouTube and scroll in the search for It's Your Health AOC, you'll find many of my previous episodes over the past year of this show. We're in the summer months right now, and many people are exercising out in the sun. They are doing recreational type things in the sun as well. I want to caution you, in this type of heat, we've had heat index of up to 103, 105 here in Lafayette, Louisiana. And I want to tell you to be sure to hydrate. Getting plenty of fluids is very, very important in this type of weather. It's so humid. Plenty of water, hydrating will prevent heat stroke. Also you want to wear some light colored clothes. If you're working out in the sun and you're working in the heat, exposed to that type of humidity, that type of temperature, by hydrating, you're replacing this fluid that we lose through perspiration. It's very important. Also, wearing light colored clothes, and light clothes in and of itself, will also allow you to allow your body to cool down during this heat. So, my tip of the day for you is hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Plenty of fluids during this hot and humid weather we're experiencing here now in South Louisiana. Now, I want to go back to my show, and we'll resume my show for programming today. I'm Dr. Rick Duplantis, and back to It's Your Health. The Zika virus is back in the news again. Zika is transmitted through the mosquito bites to a pregnant woman. Then that is transmitted to her fetus, and that's how the fetus will get the Zika virus. Other causes of the spread of the Zika virus is possibly from blood transfusion. It's very likely, but not confirmed just yet. The Zika virus symptoms. Many people infected with the Zika virus won't have a lot of symptoms. They're mild for the most part. The most common will be fever, rash, joint pain, red eyes, we call conjunctivitis. Other symptoms include muscle pain, headache. Symptoms can last for several days to up to a week. People rarely die from Zika, and they're not even sick enough in most instances with Zika to go to the hospital. Once a person has been infected with the Zika, they often are likely to be protected from future infections. As a result of the initial infection, they develop a natural immunity to the virus. The Zika infection is most dangerous and risky for women during pregnancy, and this can cause a very serious birth defect that we refer to as microcephaly, small brain. And other severe fetal defects can occur as well from Zika virus. Other problems found in infants with the Zika prior to birth would be defects in the eyes, the hearing, and then the impaired growth. There has also been reported an increased rate of cases of Guillain-Barré syndrome of those individuals who contract the Zika virus. Although there is no vaccine to prevent Zika, the best way to prevent this disease by the spread of mosquitoes is to protect yourself and your family from the mosquito bites. You want to treat your clothing with mosquito repellent. You want to wear long sleeve shirts and long pants to prevent from being bitten by the mosquitoes. You want to treat your clothing and your gear with permethrin. You want to buy pre-treated items as such. You can use insect repellent. These are registered insect repellents with one of the following active ingredients. You want to use DEET, which is very effective when used as directed. This repellent, very proven, safe, and effective, even for pregnant and breastfeeding women. Do not use insect repellents on babies younger than 2 months old. There's no vaccine to prevent Zika. The best way to prevent disease spread by mosquitoes is to protect yourself and your family from mosquito bites. Here's how to treat your clothing. You want to use an abundant amount of mosquito repellent on your shirts and on your long pants. You want to spray your shirts down and spray your pants down with this mosquito repellent. You want to stay in places with air conditioning and where windows and door screens to keep the mosquitoes outside. Take steps to control mosquitoes inside and outside your home. If you have any standing water around your house, you definitely want to get rid of that because this is the breeding ground for mosquitoes. Mosquito netting can be used to cover babies younger than 2 months old in their carriers, strollers, or cribs. Sleeping under mosquito bed net if air conditioning or screen rooms are not available, or if sleeping outdoors. You still want to protect yourself with these mosquito nets from these mosquitoes. An outbreak of the Zika virus has been confirmed in Florida, making the first time the virus has been found to be transmitted via infected mosquitoes within the continental United States. This was recent in the news. The outbreak has infected at least 4 people in Florida, 3 men and 1 woman, through local transmission. This means Florida has become the first state in our nation to have local transmission of the Zika virus. The areas in the northern Miami, about 1 square mile, where the Zika virus was transmitted from mosquitoes to people. The mosquitoes there are being tested now for the Zika virus, and they are spraying the area to make sure that the virus is contained. The Florida Health Department has been giving Zika prevention kits to the pregnant women in the affected area and warning residents to be cautious to eliminate the standing water to help cut down on the risk of mosquito breeding near them. And they have been spraying for the mosquitoes. The virus has been found to cause serious birth defects, like I said, the microcephaly, which is characterized by abnormally small head and brain, leading to significant developmental problems. The Zika virus is most detrimental to expectant mothers. Women who think they may have the Zika virus should contact the OBGYN doctor immediately. More than 1,600 people have been diagnosed with Zika within the United States, but the vast majority have been people who contracted the virus while abroad. A small number of people contracted the Zika virus through sexual transmission within the U.S. I'm Dr. Rick Duplantis. I hope that you have enjoyed today's show, that you have learned a little bit about, how to be cautious with backpacks, how to prevent the spread of the Zika virus, what you have to do to protect yourself, the protective clothing, the mosquito repellent, staying indoors in air conditioning, staying away from the mosquitoes, and getting rid of standing water in the yard. I want to wish you a very pleasant good evening. I'm Dr. Rick Duplantis. God bless.